Oh, Marcia. Oh, Tim. So, Marcia, do we have anything that we need to change for the uh, lab budget? Am I on mute?
No, we can hear you. Just
Okay. Marcia either
oh,
stepped
Richa is on mute.
it's stuck on mute. So, Sridhar, did you look at the bylaws?
Yeah, so I sent a request to all the TSC members if they are interested to nominate. They have to nominate by 31st of October.
Okay.
So if there are no nominations, then I'll have to request you if you can continue as a TSC chair.
Okay.
Joe, do you not wish to continue?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for over 2 years now, and it's not that I'm directly trying to get out of it. It's that we said, hey, this will be a 2-year term, and then we'll rotate through people, and that was in the initial days where we had to say something like that. Um,
Yeah, and
so
really,
I'm just asking if we have a requirement to hold a vote again or switch people, or we can just keep rolling the way we're rolling. It was really a question about, what did we actually say when we created the group?
yeah.
What did we all agree to?
And related to that, Joe, we agreed in the initial that first 2 years the voting members will be the premier members, and then the TSC might decide to change the format if it's required. So if TSC voting members can just quickly check if this format needs to be changed, can we bring in other voting members? So what's the opinion of the TSC current TSC voting members? If we can ask this, yeah.
All right.
Tim, I sent reminders to Joel. If you find him, if you can just see. I'm trying to get his time to discuss the budget. Maybe he's busy.
Okay, and okay, merchant lab budget. Do we need any change in the lab budget? I think you're still on mute, merchant.
Hello.
So Sridhar, do you
I will
do you see
contact him separately.
no, but do you see anything where our costs need to change?
No, I think that whatever the 100K that we will be allotting again for 2025, that should be sufficient for the next year that we are thinking. I don't see. At least we can go ahead with that. If required, we can always add to that. And only thing is, apart from the lab, if TSC has any other initiatives that it wants to plan,
No, nothing's come up. There's
example, if you want to bring in, like initially we discussed if you want to bring in some professionals to write the quick start guides or these kind of creating the learning materials, we had discussed some time back. I don't know if that we still want to bring in an external entity to do that, or our members will only do that. That we can decide. Yeah.
um okay, so we could so I mean bringing in a contractor who has both who has technical writing skills and some they don't need heavy coding skills, but some system skills where they can
Correct.
follow their own procedure and make sure it works.
Yeah.
Would be good, I think, to explore. So that's worth exploring. Does Linux Foundation have a list of consultants slash companies that do this sort of thing? And how much?
Yeah.
And I guess we shouldn't talk all, because this is being recorded, we shouldn't talk directly here about how much it would cost. But
Yeah.
why don't we go ahead and explore that? So Sridhar,
Yeah.
if you don't mind putting together um,
I will do that.
putting
I will
together
do that.
what's possible, and you can have a second document um, that isn't for public consumption about how much it would actually cost.
Correct.
Again, these
So
companies don't want their rates and things, especially if we how depending on how we negotiate with them. I'm sure they don't want that in some public document, but the fact that we're going to do this is fine to talk about, and what we would get, and kind of what the expectations are, is fine to talk about.
correct. So I'll prepare a draft SOW. I just need a TSC's okay for that. Then I
Yeah,
can reach out to these vendors.
yeah, do that. Go talk to
Yeah.
them. So basically,
Yeah. I'll a draft SOW first. Then the TSC will approve that. Then I will get the reach out to vendors.
okay. Any comments on that one?
I have one more thing to check with the TSC. Oh, sorry, you finished that.
Well, so again, do people think this is a good idea, bad idea? No comment at all? Okay, go ahead, Sridhar.
Okay. The next thing is entity reached out to us and asked if we have, if OPI has any policies around IPR for them to share their code, bring their contribution to OPI. And we said apart from the licensing that we have documented in the technical charter, we shared the link to the technical charter. Apart from this, we don't have anything around IPR. If we and OPI does not plan to create any specific policies around IPR. Is this understanding correct? So whatever the technical charter we have, that's the only thing that we have for now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, in the technical charter, so I don't recall off the top of my head exactly what the technical charter says, and that's a semi-legal topic, so I don't want to guess as to what we wrote off the top of my head. So what does the technical charter actually say?
So it only talks about the licensing part. So let me.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So if you pull that document up, you could share it and we can look at it. But if it only talks about the licensing part, then that's fine. It just says if you have IP and you contribute something to OPI, you have to grant a license. Typically, people for use of that, and if you put source code in, then implicitly you're granting a license because it's in open source. So that comes as part of putting it in GitHub. And again, we have public repos. So again, we don't have, and if two companies went off and created something where part of it is going to be protected by intellectual property, then those two companies would follow their own company's policies, or if one company did for that. And especially if some aspect of it wasn't public, but then the foundational tools were put into OPI as public, then the foundational libraries or APIs, don't have any encumbrance, whereas stuff that uses that then forms a product could have intellectual property owned by that company that doesn't affect the part that's put into OPI. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I don't think it's more complicated than that.
Correct.
And this is actually how most standards bodies and open source efforts operate.
Yeah. So we have documented that well in section 7. I have put the link and the section in this
Okay.
chat. Yeah. Okay. I have informed them. I think they will just go through it and they will bring their code soon to OPI.
Yeah, and so again, the way the code is brought is they basically come here and make a proposal. Hey, we want to add code. Here's what it does. Here's how it fits in. And we have a discussion. We listen to that. We have a discussion with them, and then we vote.
Yes.
That's how we've brought pretty much everything else in. And that, so that's the process.
Yeah.
So fairly lightweight process. We just have to all agree.
True.
Okay.
Good. I think we did that. Yeah.
All right. Other topics.
I think we agreed on to start with the readouts from the working groups from this week.
Yeah, I didn't get the working group chairs organized due to OCP and some other things this week. So I did not get the working group chairs organized to present. for that one. Other than doing that at some point, does anyone else have topics that they think we need to be addressing? I mean, we had a big, I call it big. We had a small push for how do we define what an OPI release should be, and that sort of bogged down. We probably need to come back to that one and say, what do we want to say is a first release? I think the getting started guides add value to that. I had a discussion. I had a discussion with Arpit at OCP and from the Linux Foundation, and he has a couple of ideas. Again, I can't discuss that on the idea themselves on the recording, but he has a couple of ideas that we'll try to develop for one way to move forward. What else do people want to discuss? Does anyone have any topics either for this call or a proposal? Hey, I want to bring in this idea for what we're going to contribute for next call, or hey, we really need this to be in common with the definition of what this is, dereference this. Anyone?
Yeah, I just want to remind an AI that action item that is pending on TSC. Actually, if you remember in the 2 weeks back, 2 or 3 weeks back, I believe, John Graham from UCSD, so he had come to one of our working groups and gave a presentation, I believe. And TSC was supposed to go through that presentation, the recording basically, and see what are the areas that we would be interested in and invite him to the TSC to discuss more on that specific topic, to collaborate with his group in UCSD. I was wondering if any of the TSC members have gone through the recording and if we are ready to invite him on a specific domain to collaborate.
So Tim, what was a little more detail on that part, if you don't mind? Since
Yeah, I kind of lost that thread. I mean, a lad brought him in. I remember being in the meeting. I remember that conversation, Sridhar, 4 weeks ago. But I have not myself went back and reviewed that recording.
Okay, so the link, okay, the recording, is there a written thing? Because not
Yeah, I'll put that link in the chat. Give me a message.
put the link in the chat and I'll copy it in here.
Yeah, there's no written content, Joe.
Oh, okay.
So it refers to 3rd of October. I just put the link in the chat, so you will see that link for the recording in this meeting minutes.
Oh yeah, but that's for the recording. Okay. That one is recording is available from the use case working group. Okay, so I did not interact with John because again, I was out on that call. Why don't we just invite him for next week, which will be
Yeah, we can do that. And we should reach out to a lad as well, who has had a follow-up meeting with a gentleman whose name's Bob from Comcast, to try to distill it down what use case from Bob that we could work on in OPI.
Yeah.
We need a lad to come back with what he got out of that meeting.
And we are also checking if Vic from Charter can also come and present it. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, it would be nice if we could get a readout in the TSC of what people saw and heard at OCP. But I don't see Laura or Paul on this morning, so maybe next week.
Yeah, OPI relevant. I was going to ask Paul if he was on to recount his experiences at
Yeah, exactly.
um,
I mean, I know you were there Tuesday, Joe. At least I heard you were.
yeah,
I was there. I was
I-
there Thursday morning.
I was there, but I was there for my day job.
Oh,
Yeah, I was.
pesky day job. Yeah.
That's right. That took up all the time while I was there. Um, okay, so we want to invite Bob. So we want to invite the UCSD guy and the Comcast guy to present. All right, let me. Anything else?
Well, the Comcast guy already presented the TSC,
Okay, what do we?
but a lad had a follow-up meeting with him to try to drill down a little deeper.
didn't-
So I really just wanted to read back from a lad on that.
Okay. All right. Did you ask aloud?
No, I have not, but I need to reach out to him on Slack. But if it's on the agenda,
Well, yeah, he may not.
no,
See.
no, I'll have to poke him. I understand.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else?
So if there's nothing else, Joe, can I go back to the very beginning of the meeting because my
course.
audio was broke for some reason and I had to exit and come back in.
Of course.
And you guys were just finishing up the quick start guide discussion. So is the intent there that we provide some content and then we get it polished by professional writers?
The intent would be we would walk a hybrid system technical writer through what we have and ask them to create a quick start guide. That would be the proposal.
Okay. Because I think we have the content, at least for one or two of the cards. So
We do have it all over the place, right? And so
yeah, it's not polished for sure.
that's right. And we need it web pageified, and we need a written form, we need a web page form that walks you through everything, so that if you had a card and wanted to bring up the packages we have, you can do that. And where there's proprietary vendor stuff, it can have a cutscene that goes, go talk to your vendor, go get the vendor documentation, here's the state you need to end up in.
I see. So we just step around the NDA pieces gently.
If there's an NDA piece, we say this is an NDA piece, go talk to your card vendor and go find out how to set it up to put it in this state.
Right.
And if we can't even document the end state, then we may as well fold OPI, because there's no point. If
Yeah.
people can't take a card, get it up and running with OPI without massive specialized knowledge, only available from the vendor and only available, if you have some deep relationship with them, then this is only for very large special purpose deployments or pre-canned things from vendors. And we should say that. We shouldn't dance around and pretend like we're ever going to get anywhere, because we won't. If it's a fairly straightforward set of configurations that you just go read, a user guide you can only get if you actually bought a card, and we can say what the end state is, and it's fairly straightforward to do that, then I think we still have a chance.
Yeah, and it was details like, hey, what's the SKU number for the auxiliary power cable? It's like, well, we can't say that. Well, okay, we can say you need an auxiliary power cable. This is the point in the install, you plug it in and contact your vendor to get the right cable.
Exactly.
So we just dodge around the specific NDA things. Yeah.
That's right.
But we provide a working flow otherwise.
That's right. And if there's a specific NDA thing, we say what do you have to go ask? And that should be enough, because again, physically setting up these cards, lots of people do it. And, it really should be as easy as putting a new video card in your PC. And if it's not that easy, I don't, that's always a mystery as to why it's not that easy. And, maybe creating the guide and having the gaps there, and then we can go to the companies that sell DPUs and say, hey, look, this just looks silly. And I'll say it, I'll tell them directly. I'll say, this looks silly. You got some power cable or some other auxiliary cable that you have locked down. It's proprietary information that you don't tell people how to do it. That's crazy. You don't do that with your video cards.
Right.
And your video, and there's no issue. So that doesn't seem like a trade secret or a protected information that you should care about. And so, but I don't think it has any weight to go ask that without the example out there of, look at all the stuff we can document, and now we just can't document this part. So I think we need to show, not ask.
Yep, I understand. I think it's a good idea, Joe.
Having somebody getting someone in to put the dedicated work in where they know how to do this sort of thing seems like the best way forward. And we have budget. I mean, we all again, the member companies could, allocated money to Linux Foundation to support our Linux Foundation engagement and Sridhar and the lab, and then things like this. And we don't really have that many things to spend budget on. So this is actually a good suggestion.
Yeah, I support the idea for sure. Thank you for reviewing it for me, because I missed that at the beginning.
No problem. Any other questions? Or did anybody else want to go back to any topic?
So were there comments made on the chairmanship?
No.
Okay.
Other than, am I trying to get out of it? And I said, not specifically, but again, our bylaws say 2
Okay.
years, and it's over 2 years.
So
And
you're still open to serving, continuing to serve, but you want to open it for nominations because our
Correct.
bylaws say we should do that.
Correct.
Okay. That's clear.
And, after a, 2-year and something term, I'm happy to have someone else organize and run the calls. And, I'll still participate. In any case, I'll still be Dell's TSC and participate. But, in terms of being the chair and running things, like I said, I'll do it. If no one else steps up, I'll do it. But if somebody else wants to step up and do this role, then I'm perfectly happy to do that, and they have my full support. So, but I thought it was a good idea to bring that up since it's actually in our bylaws and it has been enough time. So
Yeah, we should definitely have a window where we allow it to happen. So,
correct. Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. So we'll see if we get UCSD in for next week, and we'll follow up on these current topics. And if anyone else has anything to bring in, we have Slack channel and mailing list and direct messages to suggest topics or areas. All right. Thank you, everyone.